Oscar Wilde's only novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, is a haunting tale about vanity, morality, and the price of eternal youth. In this full narration, we dive deep into the story of Dorian Gray, a man whose face stays young while his soul rots away. Perfect for literature lovers, moral philosophers, and Gothic enthusiasts. In the heart of Victorian London, where beauty was worshipped and morality often cloaked itself in art, a story emerged that shocked the polite society of its time, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is the story of a young man's descent, from innocence to corruption, from grace to horror, all because of a portrait that never aged and a soul that could not stay pure. It begins in the studio of Basil Hallward, a talented but sensitive artist. On a bright afternoon, his friend, Lord Henry Wotton, visits him while he paints a portrait of an extraordinarily handsome young man, Dorian Gray. Basil confesses to Lord Henry that he has poured his very soul into this painting, that Dorian's beauty has inspired him like nothing else. When Dorian arrives, his charm is undeniable, golden-haired, blue-eyed, radiant with youth. But he is still innocent, untainted by the world's cynicism. Lord Henry, with his smooth words and dangerous ideas, begins to speak of pleasure, youth, and the fleeting nature of beauty. He tells Dorian that youth is the only thing worth having, and once it is gone, life becomes a shadow. For the first time, Dorian feels the weight of time. Looking at his finished portrait, a perfect reflection of his own beauty, he utters a wish that will seal his fate. If it were I who was to be always young, and the picture that was to grow old, for that I would give my soul. Soon after, Dorian meets Sybil Vane, a young actress who performs Shakespeare with breathtaking emotion. To Dorian, she seems pure and magical, the embodiment of all art and beauty. He falls in love, not so much with her as a person, but with the romantic image of her, his Juliet, his Ophelia. Sybil, overwhelmed with love, finds it impossible to act anymore. One night, her performance falls flat. She can no longer pretend to love on stage when her real love stands before her. Humiliated, Dorian mocks her cruelly. He tells her she has ruined his love, that she is nothing without her art. Heartbroken, Sybil takes her own life. When Dorian returns home, shaken, he notices something strange. His portrait's mouth seems to have curled into a faint sneer, a flicker of cruelty that wasn't there before. The painting has changed. He remembers his wish and realizes with terror and fascination that it may have come true. His body will stay young, but the picture will carry every sign of his sins. Under Lord Henry's influence, Dorian embraces a life of pleasure, luxury, and moral decay. He explores every vice London can offer: parties, secret affairs, and whispered scandals. His name becomes associated with mystery and ruin, though his face remains that of an angel. Years pass, yet Dorian does not age. Meanwhile, the portrait, locked away in an attic, grows monstrous. Its features twist into a mask of greed, lust, and cruelty. Each sin, each betrayal, each act of selfishness stains the canvas further. Dorian visits it often, fascinated and horrified, as if it were a mirror to his soul. He covers it with a drape, but can never truly turn away. Basil Hallward, the artist who loved him, eventually comes to visit. Hearing rumors about Dorian's corruption, Basil begs him to repent. In a burst of rage, Dorian shows him the portrait. The hideous image drives Basil to despair. When Basil prays for Dorian's soul, Dorian, consumed by shame and fury, kills him. Blood stains his hands, but not his face. Only the portrait grows redder. Haunted by guilt, Dorian tries to forget his crime through more indulgence, travel, and distraction. Yet the portrait remains, a reminder that every sin lives on. Years later, Dorian sees a glimmer of redemption. He spares a young girl from ruin, believing it a good act. But when he checks the portrait, hoping to see some sign of grace, he finds only hypocrisy. The face has grown more deceitful than ever. Enraged, Dorian grabs a knife, the same one that killed Basil, and plunges it into the portrait, seeking to destroy his conscience once and for all. When the servants hear a scream and rush in, they find the portrait restored to its original beauty. On the floor lies a withered old man, hideously aged, with a knife in his heart. Only by the rings on his fingers do they recognize Dorian Gray. Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray remains one of the most haunting explorations of vanity, art, and moral decay ever written. It asks us, what is the true cost of beauty, and what happens when we trade our souls for pleasure? In Dorian's fate lies a timeless truth, that the face we show the world may lie, but the soul never does.